The Stories We Aren't Meant to Remember, a personal tale of Batak rituals. Welcome back to Secret This World, the podcast where we uncover the mysteries, histories, and stories that shape humanity. Today we dive into a deeply personal account that takes us straight into the heart of Batak tribal traditions. A story shared from the memory of someone who grew up in Batak Lane, surrounded by the echoes of an ancient culture steeped in both wonder and fear. This story is about ritual cannibalism, punishment, and the unforgiving justice of tribal customs. It's a story passed down in whispers, shared in the stillness of the night, when the adults thought the children were asleep, unaware that curious little ears were listening. I want to take you back to my childhood, a time when I was just 5 or 8 years old, lying in bed, pretending to be asleep. My mother and grandmother, both from different tribes, would talk in hushed voices, weaving stories of the old ways, stories of people who had been eaten as a form of tribal punishment. I can still hear their words vividly. They spoke about who was eaten, why they were eaten, and even how they were prepared. These weren't tales of random cruelty. These were punishments reserved for those who had committed the gravest crimes. Murdering their mother, raping their sister, or being captured in the chaos of war. The punishment, as I remember it being described, was harsh but deliberate. A person sentenced to death would be tied to a tree, their fate sealed by the tribal chief. The tribe didn't rush this process. They would feed the condemned person, fattening them up over weeks or even months. The day of execution was treated as a solemn and communal event. The tribal chief would read the charges aloud, standing before the crowd as the sentence was passed. And then the fires would be lit, bonfires built from bamboo sticks, their flames flickering as the air filled with the sound of chants and drums. What happened next was not for the faint-hearted. Men, women, and sometimes children charged at the condemned, armed with small knives and bamboo sticks. They would cut the person's body while they were still alive, taking parts of their flesh, sometimes to roast over the fire and sometimes to eat raw, an act that was as much about proving bravery as it was about punishment. One detail has stuck with me all these years, a chilling yet strangely tender memory. My grandmother, who came from a family of tribal chiefs, told my mother about the parts of the human body that were considered the best to eat. According to her, the palm of the hand was the most prized, a delicacy reserved for the boldest and most respected members of the tribe. The head, though not eaten, was treated with reverence. It was often buried in secret locations, known only to a select few, like my grandmother, who carried the weight of her people's traditions and secrets. What strikes me most as I share this story is the complexity of it all. To my young mind, these conversations were terrifying, but they also offered a glimpse into a world shaped by beliefs, codes of honor, and a sense of justice that was very different from what we understand today. For the Batak, these rituals weren't just about punishment. They were a way of ensuring balance and order within the tribe. They were a way of confronting the gravest offenses with an equally grave response, one that united the community in a shared act of justice. As chilling as these memories are, they are also a part of the fabric of who I am. They remind me of the strength and resilience of my ancestors, of the stories they carried, and the rituals they practiced to survive in a harsh and unforgiving world. But they also serve as a reminder of how far we've come, and how much of the past still lingers in whispers, waiting to be uncovered, understood, and perhaps forgiven. Thank you for joining me on this deeply personal journey into the secret world of Batak traditions. In our next episode, we'll continue to explore the intersection of myth, history, and ritual as we uncover more untold stories. Make sure to subscribe to Secret of This World and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Got a question or a story you'd like us to tell? Drop us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, the world's secrets are waiting to be uncovered.